Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another night here at SRW TV. Tonight's round brought to you by Warren and Brown Tools. Here we are tonight with our V8 Supercar AM series coming to you live from Oran Park. It is Rob St. Hayter on the comms and also on production, and we'll be joined in the not too distant future by one Peter Baxter. So you got me for the first part. So as we get into this, we're just winding down the last couple of minutes here in practice, and we're looking at a pretty reasonable field, about 13 drivers so far. So could be a lot of fun here at Oran Park. One of my personal favourites. I do like this track. It's technical and it's a good bit of fun. We'll jump on the nose here with Daniel Schultz, Mr. Dragon RC himself, and get him to escort us around a little bit and take us through a lap. So we're watching now as we come up. This is up over the bridge. This is quite an integral part of the circuit. This is very interesting. Blind crest over into the right-hander and sweeping down now through a dip here. And you got to ride those curves, so you see, oh, a bit of a wiggle there from Dan. And as I come up over here, this is a really blind crest. There's a left-hander right at the top there, so down into the bottom, which is a nice uphill braking zone, so really easy on the brakes here. And get out of the corner, run it out to the pit lane wall, and run down the chute into turn one. But we're going to go about 30 seconds left in the... I got to go to that. There we go. About 30 seconds left in the practice session. There you see some of the times there. So we've got Troy Dooley leading the way with 1 minute 4.83. It's a cracking lap. I see our race controller there, Mr. Tyson McAvoy. He's punched a 104.97 in the GT3 car. So nice job there, Tyson. Andrew. What's going on, buddy? Welcome on in. We are live. Well, I'm by myself at the moment, mate, but we got Pete Baxter coming in about 15 minutes, so he'll be there at the end of quali. But I see you put a lap time out there, mate. Must feel pretty good.
Yeah, I just wanted to test the springs with the car to see if, like, where my acceleration point was. So if we do get a safety car tonight, I know where to go from, and if the car will have the grip to push on those cold tyres. So if I don't have the grip, then, you know, I'll take a bit more cautious, but it has the grip, then I can really push hard to get back to pit lane. So if we don't do the practice, you know, we might see Tyson go off and hit the wall a few times. So
we can't have the race controllers bending the safety car on the night, mate. It's we need to keep that thing nice and straight. But yeah, look, the time's going to be pretty consistent here. They're pretty close.
Yeah, Cowie's just bumped one of his first lap times in, and he's only 2/10 off the pace. So it's good to see Cowie out there smashing it out. But I've got to do my pre-race brief. But I'm going to leave you to the qualifying call, mate. Enjoy it and have a good night, bro.
All right, mate. Have a good one. So that was Mr. Tyson McAvoy. He is our race controller this evening. He's about to go off and do his race briefing over there in the YouTube land. Greggy Leake, good evening, mate. It's good to see you there. Qualifying's about to get started, so you tuned in at the right time. This track should look pretty familiar to you, Greg. We were here on Saturday night, mate, in those GT3 cars. It was a lot of fun. These things are very different, though. These supercars are very different to drive. So we've got the 64 and the 22 on screen. So that's Bradley Wall there. Yeah, it was very fun, yeah. So Bradley Wall's flying the Warren and Brown Tools, which is our round sponsor for this evening here at SRW TV. And I believe Daniel Schultz is running the Toyo Sim with the Grimm Industries on the bonnet. Actually, both got Grimm Industries on the bonnet. So thank you to those two boys. Look at that, side by side, lining up. Thank you, lads. We appreciate that. So we'll watch the quali. Short, sharp laps. These guys are going to be... We just saw in about a minute 5, so about 65 seconds. We were doing them in about 40 seconds on Saturday night. So we took about 20 seconds off the lap, so it was actually quite a lot of fun. But we'll bounce around and we'll have a look at some of our drivers. Our fellow co-commentator there, Mr. Andrew Cowie Cowan, on screen in the purple Performance Sim Racing livery. Looking very schmick out there. Love it. Mr. Peter Pavlovich in our KFC mobile. It's good to see Pete out here having a crack tonight. Who else have we got? We got Ray Oliver in the Frog League Juiced Racing. That looks like the Mustang. It is. It's the Mustang there. Brett Taylor, Valve Motorsport, out there in the ZB Commodore, doing his thing, so getting his tyres warmed up. Troy Dooley out there as well. He won the AM Series on Sunday night out at Silverstone, so he's riding a good wave of confidence right at the moment. So wish Troy all the best out there tonight. He will go very, very well, I have no doubt. Kellen Hodgkinson there on screen with the red skull on the bonnet, just getting hit up there by Cowie in the crisscross, I believe that is. But we'll start looking at Troy Dooley. Looks like he's starting to put some times together. Got a purple sector there. 2 purple sectors on this lap, so we might be able to jump on board with him if he's going to piggyback this and get another one in. Let's jump on board and see what he's doing. He does jump to the top, 106.18. It's a bit slower than the practice time, but Daniel Schultz in there too, the 106.3, Mr. Dragon RC. So we'll have to see what he can do. We'll ride on board with Troy here and get a good look at the lap and see just what the steering wheel inputs are and stuff like that. He's doing some good things, Troy. He's getting a little more confidence in the car now and starting to show performance, which is really, really good. Big confidence builder this too, so this will be a good one for him to get a nice result tonight. But all the boys will be definitely wanting to keep the pressure on this man. You see really nice inputs, really smooth. You see that in the good drivers, are really smooth. They don't fight the car very much. There's not a lot of backwards and forwards. Just, you know, really controlled inputs. Very nice looking lap. What do we got? Does he elevate himself up? Does he better? He does. A 105.42. So well done to Troy Dooley. That's a stellar lap. So we'll flick around. We'll have a bit of a look. We've got Leith McClement in. Again, another Valve Motorsports car. We've got a missing driver tonight. Young Dylan Gray will not be in the AM Series. He has moved to the Pro-Am side and into the Pro category. So during his first couple of weeks, putting on a performance and showing us how good he really is, has been moved up in a Pro class and ran second on the Pro Series on Sunday night, but we'll have a bit of a chat with Pete Baxter about that, because I know we covered it last week, saying, you know, we expect him to be moved up because of how good he's driving right now. So yeah, Mr. Tim Nicol in the Pecky's Commodore. That thing looks really nice. I do like the look of this car. Pecky, they've done a really good job on that livery. Very nice looking paint job there, Tim. Keep it up. Who's on the lap? Andrew Cowan. He's got a purple in the first and 2 greens. What can he deliver here? This will be his first time lap. Gets out the last corner, down the straight, and he puts in a 104.95. Andrew Cowan to the top. Beautiful lap there by Mr. Cowie, putting all the guns out there, and looks like we are joined in the box. Looks like Pete Baxter has gotten in a little early, but that's all right. We'll bring him in. Pete, welcome on in, mate.
Good evening, Rob. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm fantastic, mate. Looking forward to this tonight.
I am. What a round, hey? We've got a 20-minute sprint and a 40-minute reverse grid race, mate. That's got to be exciting, right?
Around here, mate, this place just generates it, doesn't it? It just... Oran Park, if you want action, you bring the cars here for sure. As you see Troy Dooley now just still maintaining second spot there on the leaderboard, but yeah, this track breeds a lot of action.
Yeah, and what about, we've got about 8 minutes left to qualifying, so the guys have probably got 2, maybe 3 runs left in it for them.
Yeah, 100%.
Open qualifying, always a wonderful thing to see the cars getting close, see if somebody can pull a few seconds on a draft down the straight. But yeah, no, really looking forward tonight. Thank you for inviting me back. I know I said last Tuesday I hadn't received any my test results from SRW, but I have been invited back, so I'm going to take that at least a conceded pass, and I'm here again. So
it wasn't an F. Let's say that it wasn't an F, so it was a pass. Look, this is not the first time we've been in the box together, mate. This is becoming a bit of a regular thing right now, and I'm kind of enjoying it, to be fair, because there's a lot on the table there. But a subject we just covered, and I know it's something we spoke about last week. Young Dylan Gray, he's not with us tonight. He's been moved up.
Yeah, well,
leaves an opening, doesn't it, for this man on screen, Brock Monteshead.
It does. Look, we talked about Dylan 2 races in a row, right? The Pro-Am race where he just missed the podium, and then the Am race at Silverstone where, look, I mean, he had a good race. He had to fight Brock in that race, but, I think, my comments referring him to the golf handicapper, he did get referred to the handicapper, and bang, right? Moved up a grade. Good on Dylan. He's made the step to pro, but if he is listening, and for everybody else out there, I've got to say, when you're in that next class, winning above your class is kind of hollow, right? So, when you can go and fight and win in your class, it's a much better win. And I know that, eventually, whilst Dylan might not necessarily tick up the podiums on his record in iRacing just as quickly anymore, but what he might do is, when he does get a podium and a win now, it's going to be a whole lot more satisfying. So good on the young fella. But yeah, Brock's now in the box seat, and given it's Oran Park, she's a tricky little circuit. So
it's actually,
we'll see what happens.
It's actually funny. We talked about Dylan Gray and just punching sort of where he needs to be. Ran P2 on Sunday night at Silverstone. So I mean, he can mix it with the big boys. I mean, that's for sure. He's definitely got the pace. He's got the racecraft. And he's just got to get in that groove, doesn't he, Pete? He's just got to get in that window and just settle himself down and find his rhythm in that group.
Well, I mean, he is one of the big boys, mate. He is the faster driver, right? You and I get in the car, and we're not even reading the back of his spoiler. So, look, and good on you. I think it's fabulous, and it's a really good demonstration that, here at SRW, we get all the guys that are developing. They probably don't have, not all of them have the time to spend behind the simulator. So, they're 1.5, 2 seconds a lap slower than, the aliens or the supers and the pros. And look, I'm in that category too, right? But the thing is, we love sim racing, and so does everybody on the track tonight. And what SRW does is we give these guys a format where they can shine. They're not the mid-pack and the backpack of the aliens for this race tonight. They're out there to shine. But it also demonstrates that, that as a league, the league's going to sort of, have a review of the performances and go, hey, mate, maybe you are one of the big guys, right? Maybe you are one of those fast guys. So, we'll even up the league and go from there. So, I'll let you get back onto the commentary. I'm seeing, I'm not sure whether you're in the bedroom or still watching cars slide on track, but back to you, man.
No, I was just, I saw Tim light up the Christmas tree there with a purple sector, and we jumped on board, and he had a major loose moment just after the bridge, and that's one of those key corners. It's about flow, and if you don't flow on that corner, it can bite you really quick. We just see he's dropped 3, 4 orange sectors, so he just not quite there, but just watching a few of the boys. Troy Dawley's lighting it up again, so we'll see what he can finish off here.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the track before we get into the race, right? Now, I mean, you come down the main straight, and you think turn 1 is just a sweeper, and then you hit the brakes, but you've got to slow down for turn 1, and effectively you're on the brakes all the way into turn 2, which is almost a hairpin, but not quite. And then you run around. There's a little bit of a lip through 4, but particularly that bridge where you said, Tim had a bit of trouble. I found you come up on that bridge, if you're not off the throttle, it kind of launches the car and you don't get to turn it at all through 6, and you end up on the outside. So, It's a real technique, and it's going to be interesting, particularly the 20-minute sprint race tonight, to see when everybody's like fighting for that. For that position, because it's not about strategy, mate. It's a full-on aggression sprint race. How they're going to tackle the bridge first lap when they might have a minimum overlap. I can get it here, and they just hold the throttle out a little bit too long. I think that's a real danger zone for lap 1 on their 20-minute sprint. Potentially not so much for the 40-minute sprint, because that'll have a pit stop in it and a bit of strategy. And then as they go around the track. 7-8's a little bit tricky. You can overshoot 7 and then end up on the grass on the inside. And then, through 10 and 9, if you line it up with the trees on the horizon, pretty good. Coming through 10 and 11's really cool. And then you've got the big slowdown to come onto the straight through turn 12. So a really technical track. A nice little relaxation down the straight. But then once you turn in for turn 1, it's on until you get back to turn 12, right?
That's right. Well, turn 12, I mean, we talk about it quite often at Oran Park because it's uphill, it's cambered, so it really gives you that ability to just get, you don't need to hard brake it because the uphill slows you down anyway. And we see a lot of people, and myself included, I even did it on the weekend when we're out here in the GT3 cars. You're going up that hill and your tendency to brake too hard because muscle memory, you've got to brake these cars a certain way. So when you're going uphill and trying to tuck it into the corner, you're braking the car and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm really slow now. And if you've got a car behind you, they're not expecting that. It causes that concertina and you find that you start bumping and grinding all the way up the hill. But just looking down the order, no one's clear of off tracks at the moment. So that 20-minute race you're talking about is going to be something very spectacular.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
that uphill point into 12. You're right. I mean, I did about 5 laps. Nowhere near enough to even come to these times, but just enough to get a feel for the supercar on the track. And these guys must have done some laps to practice because, I was finding myself in the mid-7s. Rob Viss is there at P11 at the moment in a low 7. So, and we got Cowie in a high 4. So they've certainly put in some time in practice to get setups right. And it's looking pretty good. We've got about, 1.5 minutes left in qualifying. So you might want to run through the order, mate.
About 90 seconds, yeah. Well, I mean, Andrew Cowan's leading the way with it, 104.95, which is a bit slower than what we saw in practice, but still, that's a damn quick time. Troy Dooley there, 105.13. Brock Mottershead, 105.48, so again, nothing much in it there. Peter Pavlovich, 105.75. Tim Nicol in the Pecky's car, 105.88. We'll just see Peter Pavlovich just jump up there with a 105.40, so he jumps in front of Brock Mottershead there. Brett Taylor, 106.21. Leif McClement, 106.22. Bradley Wall, who's on screen now, 106.29. Daniel Schultz, who's not on track at the current point, 106.30. Ray Oliver there, 106.40. And rounding out the last of our lap cars, 107.16 Rob Weiser. So, yeah, it's going to be on. It's going to be helter-skelter, but no one's clear of these off-tracks. Pete, I'm not sure how this is going to go. I think this is going to be brutal, this 20 minutes, and then you're going to flip the fast guys around, put them at the back, and say, have another crack at it and see if you can get it from behind. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very fun.
To be honest, she's not an easy track to overtake on. You do get if you get a good run out of 12, you do get a chance to get a good overlap down the straight into one. So there we go. We just ended up with qualifying. So who we've got? We've got on pole Callan Hodgkinson. Very, very tidy. So
no, he hasn't got a lap in from what I can see.
Haven't he?
No.
Timing must have gone straight up. I'll be
trying to. Let's see. Okay, you going to play the game, or no? We're not playing the game today.
There we go.
Wow, that's interesting.
Awesome, man. If you want to run through the grid, I want to find our YouTube chat so we can see if we get any comments tonight. By all means, if you're listening on YouTube, throw some comments this way and we'll see if we can respond. It's going to be a sprint race, but it's going to be tough.
Okay, so there's our grid. Andrew Cowan on pole, Troy Dooley out of P2, Peter Pavlovich out of P3, Brock Mottershead out of P4, Tim Nicol out of... What is... Yeah, Tim Nicol out of 5, Brett Taylor out of 6, Leith McClement out of 7, Bradley Wall out of 8, Daniel Schultz out of 9, Ray Oliver out of 10, Rob Weiser out of 11, and I don't think Callum Hodgkinson has made the grid by the looks of that. We're right. I've got. Let's see if we can.
Yeah, no, it just looks like our timing screens have gone.
It's
gone a bit haywire for the start, but
SCK's got nuts. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, we're gridded up. We're about 40 seconds before we're ready to go for the start. What are you expecting at the start, Rob? 20-minute race?
Yeah, it's going to be helter-skelter down into 1, and then it's just going to break loose down there and be a problem, I think. But let me see if I can fix this issue.
So she's a 20-minute race. We're not expecting a pit stop. She's just a pure sprint race for this one. And I think it's, whoever goes, right? So
that's right.
Awesome.
All right, lights
and
are on,
they're away.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we got really delayed lights. That's interesting. So Troy Dooley's got a ripper start. And that's Tim Nicol also getting a cracking start, trying to go around the outside of Cowie right now. I don't know if that's going to work, Tim, but Troy Dooley, what a start. And that's Brock Mottershead right up the inside of Tim Nicol there. So that's brought Brock up a fair little way there. So he's gained a couple of spots off that start. Is it back there a little bit?
Absolutely. Yep, Tim Nichols, I think he's just dropped back another spot there, but he started from 6, so he got a really good start as well. A couple of guys looked like they bogged it off the line. Here we go. We're into the bridge. We've got a couple of cars side by side coming up to the bridge. Are they going to get through this corner all sweet? Oh, yeah, no, look, they've done some practice to get through there. There's a lot of patience for a 20-minute race made in the M Series, I've got to tell you. That's good fun.
Boys, I'm not expecting that to be placid like that. I'm expecting elbows out. I want to rough up. But we see him come off 12 there, and they're trying to get the power down. Oh, no, sorry, that was out of 8, 9, that's 10 there, 11, 12 here. So this is that corner, that's that uphill. Now they've got to, we see the flash of the brake lights there from Daniel Schultz, trying to get a run here.
Well, this is the main overtaking, right, is to come out at 12, get a bit of overlap and a run into 1. Otherwise, you're almost waiting for someone to make a mistake.
Someone's gone off there. Who's
someone's made a mistake up there at turn 2.
And Tim Nicol. They've come together.
Tim Nicol.
We'll throw back to that. We might have a bit of a look. Definitely that turn 1 incident area, though.
Well, that's it. That's a minute.
And
it's tricky on the brakes. It's tricky on the brakes because as they come around 1...
Cowie must have got back in front. He did. He must have passed Troy there. But Cowie's had a big lock-up. Oh, Brock. Oh, he almost cleaned up the back of Troy. Brock's, and Tim's just followed him.
They've both just overshot it. So they've come through turn 1 a little bit hot. Both just overshot it. They've just got to put their hands down now and see if they can come back. And Brock's... I see Brock on the live screen is having a little bit of trouble in another spin over the bridge. So settle down there, Brocky, and get back into it, mate, and you'll be able to fight back.
But we're right on the nose here of Troy Dooley. That's Andrew Cowan back in front. So Cowie's probably making the best of not having the super gun in here at the moment with Dylan Gray moving up. So this will be interesting. See if Troy can get right. Oh, Troy's gone deep. Oh.
Well, as we've seen, Brock's been the class of the field behind Dylan, so he's now at the back for a 20-minute sprint race. So this really opens up the field for anybody, and Cowie's taking advantage of that right now.
Oh, but Cowie's not thinking for later, mate. He's not thinking like the next race is do you want to win this one, or do you want to get pole position and get away from the big guys early?
Cowie's got his race driver's helmet on. You know what happens when people put their race driver's helmet on, and it's a sprint race.
Yeah, you want to get the crack-on effect there. So look at this battle pack here. We're right on the nose with Tim Nicol here as he's right over the back of Ray Oliver, and that's Daniel Schultz right up in front of him too. But as you said, there's not many passing options, is there, Pete? You just can't put it there. Ooh.
No, there's not, and it's about patience. And see, I think. Tim lost an opportunity there. He needed to be on the brakes earlier, come out of that faster, because Ray did make a mistake on the way in, and he would have gone overlap.
They've gone up in front as well.
Oh, this is
So
overshot
good.
it again by the looks of it.
That's
And with
Bradley
the car
Wall.
side by side coming through too. They are fighting, man. This is a classic 20-minute sprint race, right? You know, none of this pit strategy. If you're going to give me a position, I'm taking it.
Oh, that was Bradley Wall that went off as well, by the way. So that was one of the SRW cars, and that's just given Daniel Schultz that position. But now that's going to put Bradley Wall in the clutch of the Ray Oliver. And we've seen Ray through a lot of SRW races, and he's not the biggest fan of this car, but he's certainly come to grips with it as we see Tim almost wipe the back of that Frog Leap Juice car. So look, these
Place
boys
to
are on it.
overtake you, man. They're on it, and there's massive defence going on there. Dan Schultz is defending really
that's
hard.
Bradley
Both
Wall.
Ray and is that Brad Wall in the 64?
Oh no, it is Dan
no,
Wall.
it's a 64 car. Yep, Dan Schultz is defending
Oh,
really
Tim's.
hard. And again, Tim's lost another opportunity, mate. He's just got to be a little bit more patient. He's getting it. That driver's helmets are on, right? They're really
look at this,
exciting.
right beside him.
I got a spot.
There's Leaf on the
Yeah, we got
inside.
Leaf's got a crack. Oh no, he's lifted out of it. So Leaf's thinking
that's
Leaf
smart.
might be listening to us.
Yeah, Dan Schultz on the hard defense, isn't he? Like he's defending right there. There's Leaf there. Leaf's looking. Leaf's got some pace, mate. We'll flick back to Leaf and we'll watch this from his point. Actually, might jump in his car actually because his view would be very eye-opening for this there. And we're looking at Leaf now in P9, so this technically is a front row start for the reverse grid. So
It is, but it's also the best seat in the house for the best race at the moment, right? So
absolutely.
we got, Cowie and Troy Dooley are out the front. So Cowie's got a 1.5 second lead there over Troy Dooley. We're not showing that at the moment, but we are showing you the best battle. We've got Dan Schultz just holding off Ray Oliver, with Tim Nicol fighting fast, and both Ray and Tim look a little bit faster than Dan. Dan's defending really hard. Oh, Ray's just made a mistake.
Oh, no.
Ray's just touched the grass and had a bit of a spin there. Not much that Tim could do.
We'll
So
throw
he's
that.
just fell out of that battle now. Yeah.
Let's have a look here. What's Ray done? Has he hit the grass or is he just...
Yeah, he's just
No, he
gone a
hasn't
bit
touched
inside on the curb. No,
has
he's
he
gone a
gone
bit too much
inside?
on the inside. So as he comes inside here, he's got a good look in. He's just dipped the tyres in, and that's just turned the car. Yeah, and Tim's tried to just take it outside. Yeah, it's just collected him because he's on the throttle right there. So tough for Tim to be able to pull out of that. But yeah, that sort of puts Ray back in with Brock and Rob. So
That puts Ray back in P10, mate. So it's a front row start in, 13 minutes?
Wow, we've still got a long way to go, mate, before I'm looking for a front row start. I think I'm still fighting for championship points.
This battle is a cracking battle too. Peter Pavlovich on the back of Brett Taylor. Oh, and he just had a little moment under brakes there, Peter. So that's giving Brett Taylor just a little bit of a gap to just press on now and try and get going a little bit.
I'll tell you what, I've been racing Brett in the Canunda series, and he is just an awesome driver for not going for fastest laps, but being smooth and not making mistakes. And that bugger put a whole heap of pressure on me last week until I made a mistake. I won't remember it, Brett. I've got you in my mirror. No, in fact, you're always in my windscreen. But
that's right.
But tonight with Pete behind him, I know Brett's mind will be no mistakes, and Pete's going to be right in his mirror there, put a lot of pressure. It'll be good to see what happens here tonight with Brett.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we see Brett Taylor week in, week out, just really smooth, consistent. And we see a lot of these guys, they sort of get around each other and they mix it up. It's not the same battles each week. Like we're seeing like Peter now on the back of Brett, but we've seen Peter in battles with Brock and Dan. Those guys all getting around each other. So Troy Dooley entered pit lane.
And it looks like Tim Nichols just had another spin, mate. Looks like Tim Nichols just had another spin.
Did he?
And that's coming out of turn 9, which is Sutton's corner there.
Oh, this is a classic. This is really hard, this section of track. This is really technical because the car wants to float all the way out. You're trying to fight it and you're going to grab the grass. Yep, grab the grass.
Yep, and she's just grabbed the grass.
Oh.
All right, and it looks like we got car 360 off the track as well there, Rob, if we can find that. And safety car is going to be called. This race is going to settle with 11 minutes to go, a few minutes of safety car, and we're down to about a 6-minute sprint race, mate.
This is Cowie. He didn't want the safety car right now. This is the leader's nightmare. So what's Rob done? Oh, he's just gone in way too quick. Oh, that's going to hit hard. Bang. Oh.
Yeah, he's just missed his reference over the hill there, and he's just touched the grass. And
unlucky, Rob. Unlucky, mate.
Unlucky. Blown an engine. Yeah.
So we just jumped to the nose of Andrew Cowan now. We see the leaders coming down that front straight. I'll pick up the safety car right there. There it is. Our promo department safety car.
Slow down, boys. Slow down.
Don't hit the safety car.
I think the brake lights need to be flashing the speed they were going into turn 1 and 2 there.
Yeah, so we'll see a lot of the guys now. We've got them coming down the front stretch, so they'll catch up to the back of the safety car.
Andy Cowan didn't really need that. He was just maintaining a nice gap with Troy over there, and now this is going to put Troy in. Who can keep their tyres at the right temperature under safety car? What do you think? I mean, the rest are going to now catch up, and it's going to be safety car breed safety car.
Well, it looks like we've got Peter Pavlovich did make that pass as well. When did he do that? Peter Pavlovich is out in front of Brett Taylor. I just see that. We must.
We haven't seen that move. No.
Yeah. That hasn't even shown up on SCK. That's how good the pass was. Even they missed it. So Peter Pavlovich actually up into P3. We'll just quickly have a look at that pass. So he's obviously gotten past.
So commentators curse on Mr. Taylor there. Oh, mate, Brett, sincerest of apologies. Brett's just done a bit of a lock-up overshooting into turn 2.
That was actually on Bradley Wall, that one.
That was Brett, mate. Brett was in. Was that Brett in front of him?
Brett's in front of him now, yeah. Because that's Brett there. So I'm wondering if he's just had a bit of a. Oh, here it is. Here we go. It was just before the safety car was called. So here's that pass. So this was our battle for 3 and 4. We saw Peter Pavlovich on the back of Brett a couple of times, but he's gone for a big lunge. Oh,
that's a massive dive
there. Oh, he squeezed him too.
That's really good driving from Brett. But it's also good, respectful driving from Brett. He knew he was coming in there, didn't turn in. Lose 1 position rather than lose 14 positions and race on for another day. Really smart driver. Like I said, Brett's a super smart driver. I wish he was just a touch slower so I could be in front of him and not behind him. But really good driving there from both of them. They're both on the track. Good fighting. Looks like the lights are coming out this lap. We'll be back at racing, mate.
Yeah, so Cowie is going to be hot property right now for Mr. Troy Dooley. He's going to be eyes on the back of that car. We might actually jump on board with Troy here.
So with 8 minutes to go, we've probably got about 6 laps to go, Rob?
Yeah, about 6, maybe 7.
So it's not a desperate sprint. That's enough still to drive properly. Let's just get on the back of, see when he goes.
When does Cowie go?
All right. Safety car's in pit lane. He can go any time from now.
He's going to go on the exit. Yeah, he'll go. There he
right
goes.
on the apex. Yeah, right on the apex. Very smart.
Real loose.
Very smart. Troy's just got a little bit loose, which means if you have a look, come back. Pete Pavlix has got him on the inside. Pete should be able to get him coming into turn 1. Yeah, he's got him nice and clear. Can he pull the car up? Yeah, he's pulled the car up, got it into the middle of the track and saved it. And Pete's up into P2 now. Andrew Cowan's got off in the early 1 second lead, and we've now got a massive fight for P2 and 3 because we've got 4 cars together.
Yeah, 5. Actually, 1, 2, yeah. Look, I mean, if we go back, I think it's Brett Taylor. No, it's actually behind him, Daniel Schultz. Jump on the nose cam here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this little cluster here. So, and Ray Oliver's not actually far into this either, Pete. He's just sitting there, anything happens, he's going to be the victor of a few spots.
Well, think about the 2 guys that had trouble early in the race, right? So Brock and Ray Oliver have both been put back into this race after the safety car. If they can find a few positions, they're going to get a decent result, but also with the reverse grid, a reasonable start spot.
That's right. Well, Brock's back in P11, so he needs that spot over Leaf McClellan. But again, you see, this is just a tight little pack here. You've got Leaf, Callum Hodgkinson and Brock Morissette all together. just trying. They're trying to get these spots, but Brock really needs it. I think if he gets to the P10 spot, he gets that front row start. I think we'll see a different race from Brock next time round.
Well, and it looks like
Daniel Schultz has gotten Brett Taylor,
Daniel Schultz. Brett Taylor's lost
just
a couple of positions.
He has, he's back behind Ray. Look at the back of that Mustang, mate.
Yeah, Brett got a little bit of oversteer coming out of 2 there, and he's just lost 2 positions out of that. And so, again, I think we might have to apologise to Brett. We just said he was a nice, smooth driver, making no mistakes, and put the mockers on the poor fella, right? Yeah, Brett might sign the fail for my commentary gig, but look, he's still in the race, and he's going to set himself up well for a race 2 start. But I'll tell you what, some of these guys are pretty fast and aggressive tonight. So, it looks like what we got there. We've got cards just gone wide, so that is Dan Schultz has gone wide. Ray Oliver's on the inside of Dan Schultz coming down the straight right now. He's been able to pull back in. He's defended, so Dan's going to hold that. He's holding Ray off. Real fight into turn 2 there. Oh, lots of defending there from Dan. Ray's giving him a little tap in the back.
He's just giving him the hold-up button there, hasn't he?
There's my man Brett. He's just sitting there waiting for someone to make a mistake like he does. Call him the Iceman, Brett Taylor. Val Kilmer, eat your heart out. We got Dan Schutz. Oh, Ray's really given Dan
At least the Claremont just spun at the back there, guys, and I'm back in to see how things are going, and I'm not damn racing.
Welcome on in, Stephen. Thanks for the warning.
That sounds like the Big Sinker. What are you doing here, Big Sinker? You should be on the track jumping over curbs for us, mate.
I couldn't get my little boy to sleep in time, and I missed the start of the race, and I really like this track too, and I'm just watching Dan block like he normally does.
That's a bit fair, mate. That's all fair defending. The only blocking if race control says it is.
Any blocking is fair blocking as long as it's within the rules.
Ray's got around the outside at 2.
Ray's on the outside. He's having a look at him. Dan's still holding him off. Mate, it's all fair defending. Dan is taking the defensive line. It's going to be a little bit slower for him, which means Ray's going to have to really either get him on the outside, or he's going to have to do, and which is hard because he's got Brett Taylor right behind him. He's going to have to try and do an up and over, an up and under on one of the corners, probably turn 12. But it looks like Ray's looking for a dive underneath in the braking zone to get the position, and Dan's holding him off super strongly. Oh mate, it's fair but
Dan
tough.
Schultz has made this car 3 times wide. Who's that? That's Tim Nicol just gone off in that little zone there.
Nicol. Yeah.
So you're not racing tonight, Stephen, so what, I guess you're stepping up to pro as well next week? Ray's got the inside run now.
All right, looks like Dan's made a little mistake, but Ray Oliver's made a little bit of mistake. Brett Taylor has got a run now on the outside of Ray Oliver.
Ray Oliver's just called it excessive blocking, but I don't think there's... Exactly as I was about to say, excessive blocking is not a breach of the rule. Excessive blocking is just racing.
No, I think everyone's going to learn. There's reasonable blocking, and you can do it lap after lap after lap.
He's got the run.
He's got it. He's got the run. He's got it on the inside to be able to squeeze him now and take it. Now, does Brett take advantage? Does Brett come through and take advantage? A little bit of a tap, maybe. No, Brett can't take advantage. So Ray Oliver's finally got through. Dan's got it.
Look at that.
And look at that. We got Brock Mother's head right on the back of Brett Taylor now.
He's climbing his way up. Dylan Gray in the race chat. I miss racing.
I pulled myself out of that conversation of Dan Schultz considering he's a teammate on track, so I'll let you guys sledge him as much as you want.
I'm not going to sledge him. I'm going to say it's all fair defending until race control says it's not. So
This is very true, mate.
This is going to heat up
racing is
boys.
racing.
2 minutes left and Pete's on the back of Cowie.
Pete is right on him now. Can he do him wrong? What's your prediction? Can Cowie hold on?
I don't want to say it, mate. We've been talking him up all night, and every time we talk him up, it all hits the fan really quickly. So
we've got to stay on this. We've got to stay on this, mate. There's 2 laps to go. I've got my eyes on the other battle with Ray Dan and Brett still, but that sort of stationary at the moment. But let's keep an eye on the leaders. So with just over 1.5 minutes to go in this race, we might get another lap out of it.
Grass. He's pressing on.
It's good to see Peter Pat at the pointy end of the grid for a change. He's having a bit of a rough trot of late, and it's good to see him.
He's got the
winner, former series winner, fighting for a top of the podium is really good to see.
Oh, yeah, who's exactly Stephen? I see him peek out.
317's going to drive through.
Oh, who's coming in front of Cowie?
Leith McDermott's black
Claremont. Yep.
Oh, good squeeze there. Got out of the way. It might be on white flag, actually.
Might be on the last lap.
Is this Cowie's first top step of the podium? I think it might be.
Oh, I couldn't tell you, Steve. I've only been here for a couple of minutes.
I'm not sure. Cowie's first win in SRW. I'll tell you right now, I'll confirm that.
Oh, jeez.
Don't jinx it, Stephen. Don't jinx it.
We're not going to be able to shut him up, Steve. Go back and do your research, will you? You know.
Cowie's driven. Oh, he's just loose. He's just loose over the top, and that gives Pete this almighty run through this corner.
No, he's got to hold on.
All right, what's Barney doing? What's Barney doing?
Here's Barney giving us the white flag or the checkered.
We've got time now. This to be white flag now.
White flag now, and I've got to tell you, let's see if Cowie can hold on, because he did almost have a win at
Pete's giving him a hard time
at Spring one time, and I, as the race controller, I robbed it of him for defending for illegal defending, and he lost that by less than half of a second. So Cowie's probably still got that in his memory banks.
Oh, he's just made a little bit.
Hang on to it, Cowie. Hang on to it. Don't let me be a race controller and a commentator curse on you, buddy. Hang in there, man.
He's just made a little mistake by giving Peter sniff.
But he's got massive pressure.
You know he's listening to this right now, guys, don't you?
Oh, good. Hope he is listening to it.
All right, looks like there's a last lap incident between Brett and Tim Nicol. I reckon I'll have to have a look at. But no, let's focus on this leader. Yeah, if Cowie's listening, mate, hang on to it. One more corner to go. Hang on to it. Oh, come out of it. Pete's going to have a look at you, mate.
He's going to get it. Cowie's going to get it.
Stay
He's going to get it. He's going to get it.
He's going to get it. That is a checkered flag. Well done.
One winner. Andrew Cowan, second by Peter Pat, third by Troy Dooley. That is sensational.
And not enough to take him to the stewards for referral to pro yet. So stay there, have another race or two in Cowie, and enjoy the win, buddy.
Hey, Stephen, that's actually really good for Troy Dooley after we saw him win at Silverstone on the weekend. So that's a good confidence boost for him right now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's back up. That's backing it up. He's he did say he's a bit more focused these days, and it's good to see.
And look at this.
That was his
going to come home P9. That is going to be a front row grid start for the 40-minute feature.
Front row with Cal Hodgkinson.
That's
right.
I
think, yeah, Brett Taylor has called in an incident, so we'll might, whether the race control gets through it, we've got a 10-minute break before the next race. The race control will review that. We might see somebody with a black flag at the start of the next race that might be on 3 or something. So we'll see how we go. But we'll see how we go.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if we get... I know he's not going to be able to resist. Cowie's going to jump. There he is.
He's on his way.
All right, Cowie. Take it away, mate. Tell us, how was it? First win, mate.
Into the crowd?
Yeah, it was pretty good, man. The boys were pushing me there. Sorry, I just mute the chat so I could hear you guys because they're talking. Troy got a great start and had me there. He just made that one mistake and I was able to get through. And Peter was coming pretty hard there at the end, and I didn't have any rear tyres left, so I had to defend on that last lap. But it was good fun.
So how you shaping up for the reverse grid here, mate?
Dude, it's hard to pass around here, man. So we'll see how we go. But I've got the monkey off my back, boys. That's my first win.
First one in this,
yeah, I had some podiums, and I had a win. Unceremoniously taken away from me last year.
We were just
I'm not bitter about it all. I'm not bitter about that at all.
No, you've short memory, mate. Isn't it?
Nah, look,
So-
this is one of those tracks that when you get into a sink, you can drive it really well, and there's a couple of places where you can be pretty liberal with your use of the track width. And, once you get into sink around here, it's quite good, but rear tyres will chews them up.
So, Cowie, with the elephant memory, what's your plan for race 2, mate? Early pit stop and undercut with the 40-minute race, given that you're going to be back down,
I'd say it'd have to be on the cards, but I know then my tyres were pretty shot for the last 2 or 3 laps there, so, you're going to have to be wary about going too early.
Typical driver, boys. You're not giving anything away, right?
No, but
only advice I can give you. Only advice I can give you is when you pass Callum Hodgson, give him lots of space. You'll be at the side of the grid.
that's you, Stephen. We've got to give space to.
No. I'm easy to pass. Though. I'm a gentleman. Yeah, it's Callum's got really broad shoulders like Dan Schultz.
Doesn't take much to have broad shoulders around this track, man. You just put it in a couple of places, and I think a couple of the guys tried to ask race control about excessive blocking, but race control replied that isn't in the rule book. So
That's exactly right. Yeah, exactly right.
Well, we'll throw you back
Good
out.
fun.
She's a tough track. Good luck in race 2, and good to have the monkey off the back, mate. Well done.
Thanks, boys.
Have a good one,
Looking
Gary.
forward to it. Cheers.
Well, congratulations to
good.
Andrew Cowie for his first win in SRW, and with the boss man in the box right at the same time, so that was pretty cool.
We've had a few firsts this week, haven't we? Since Sunday,
have,
that was
yeah.
it's Troy Dooley's first win as well.
Yeah,
We had Clatterbuck's first podium.
yeah, we did do that on Sunday night. Yeah, that was a pleasure.
Yeah. So the first tonight for Cowie.
We had Dylan Gray, first pro race, puts it on P2 behind Dikey, so that was that was a good little thing.
Pretty eventful week. Pretty eventful weekend. I like it.
Yeah, it's been
There
good.
you go. You bring sim racers to the fore, and you see what happens, mate. Everybody, puts a foot up, gets a step up, and here we go.
Ray Oliver is not impressed with Dan Schultz's driving style, and RC they've just enforced the comment to say that he didn't break any rules, and therefore there's not much they can do about it. Blocking's allowed, mate. It's like as long as it's not on the brakes.
Yeah, Steve, I wouldn't call what Dan did blocking. I'd call that defensive.
No, I don't call that
driving.
defensive driving.
Yeah, because to me, blocking has the connotation that you have done something illegal, and it is something
you're right
that
there.
would
You're
draw
right
a
there.
penalty. So I think
Terminology is incorrect.
to be fair to Dan, I think he drove that very smartly. He drove it with a whole lot of defence to hold his position, and he's made Ray really think about how he gets past. And on a track that's difficult to pass, that's smart driving, right? You don't always have to be the fastest, but if you're the car in front, the fastest car's got to find a way around. You don't always have to open the door. So I think
Dan's got himself a pit lane start for some reason. We'll have to find out what's going on there.
Let's straighten him
there was
out. Let's see if he's
there
ready.
was a post-race interview, post-race
Incident?
review going on. Yeah, there was an
Okay, so that would
incident.
have been.
Yeah, there was an incident on the last lap with the guys that were running for 5, 6 and 7 between, I think it was between Ray Oliver, Brett and Dan. So there's a call out of that. There's probably somebody in the pits for the second race.
Okay, yeah, cool. So it wasn't about his driving style, it was more about the incident itself. My choice of words by me, blocking driving style, that's totally incorrect. I totally agree with you. It's just racing, mate. That's what it is. I mean, Schumacher was famous for it, wasn't he?
Well, so was John Bow in V8s, wasn't he? So,
Yeah.
so we can just say, Dan Bow Schultz.
Let's not repeat it. He won't stop talking about it.
Oh no! Look, if he gets to a big open track like Silverstone again, driving like that doesn't necessarily work because you just lose too much time. And and even on a track like this, I think Ray had opportunities. I think Ray's mistake was when Dan was defending the way he was. I think Ray had an opportunity to go into a corner styler and come out faster on a couple of laps, and he would have got that position a lot easier. But,
that's what people forget. Yeah, when they get wrapped up in like getting on the bumper, but sometimes 64 with 175 on the last lap. That's what the incident was for. Now, yeah, so a lot of them forget, the battle's not always going to be on the bumper bar. If you go in and break that little bit earlier, sometimes you can get a beautiful run out, and all of a sudden you've got yourself, a fighting position where you can get side by side, force a mistake.
Yep. And that's right. And when you've got a car that's defending, they're going to come out off an apex slower anyway because they haven't gone in with the premium line. So, a little bit of patience, probably thinking, 2-3 corners ahead rather than thinking the corner that you're looking at. Yeah. But essentially, we got AM drivers here. So,
correct.
This is the best opportunity to learn that.
And it is 100%. And you're spot on with your comment there that a defensive line is always going to be slower out of a corner than your natural line. So if Ray would have taken that natural line, breaking a bit earlier on maybe last corner, or even this corner now that we can see Brock going through around here, he could have cut on the inside a bit earlier if he didn't compromise the end bit. This bit at the top of the hill is always a good bit to get a bit of extra pace and sort of try to get something happening at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, a bit tricky. I agree with you. Coming out of 12 and then getting the overtake before 1 and 2, or even coming out of turn 2 and getting the overtake before 3, which is where Ray actually got him in the end. But I think Dan just made a little bit of overshoot, left the inside open for Ray to get through when he did get through eventually. But that's what racing is all about. Sometimes racing is about patience. It's about I know I'm faster than this guy. I know I've got to work on this guy. And if you listen to the professionals, some of them will take 5, 8, 10 laps to actually break down a guy to work out where they're going to get him. And, we're sometimes in sim racing, and I know I'm guilty of it as well, we all get a bit desperate to get that spot straight away, and it's not necessarily the best way to go.
It's not always breaking them down either. It's also, you try to do the fake move 3-4 laps in a row. So the guy starts getting used to blocking that move. It might not be part of your natural line, it might be a line that's a bit slower for you. And then finally, when you get the chance, you take your natural line, and he's gone for the old block, and then all of a sudden you're through as well. So there's a number of ways of doing it. You've got to program the guy in front of you. I mean, perfect example is, my brain's just gone blank. Mag Turbo driver, pros, Bruce Tanner. And Matty Keane, always in the left and right hand mirrors. They'll pick the driver and they'll just let them know they're there. Just let them know they're there. Keep humming, not necessarily attacking, but letting them know they're there. And then what they'll do is a pattern, get in the left hand corner of that right hand turn or something like that. And all of a sudden they change it and they go bang, and off they go and they're around them.
Yeah, that's right. And they put that, when they put that pressure on guys like you and me, we've also got a blue and yellow flag in the corner. But, when they're doing it to others and they're racing for position, and that's the idea. You just got to get into the mirror and where is he? Is he on the left? Is he on the right? Is he right up? Is he going to have a go? And essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the driver that's in front just to miss that apex and come out a bit slowly.
And is just give Tim Nicola a help into the pit lane on the main straight.
This is a warm-up. All right, we're getting ready for the feature, which is a 40-minute race. This feature will include a pit stop because there's not enough fuel to get to the end on this one. It'll have a nice open pit window, so I think we've got an opportunity for anybody stuck at the back to go in early and have a crack at an undercat. But we'll see what happens, eh?
All right, well, the grid's up straight.
In the pit lane.
Callan Hodgkinson out of 1, Brock Monteshead out of 2, Brett Taylor 3, Tim Nicol out of 4, so that's a good top 4 from the rear of the last one. Dan Schultz, as we said, has got a pit start. Ray Oliver out of 6, Bradley Wall out of 7, Troy Dooley out of 8, Peter Pavlovich out of 9, Andrew Cowan, our winner from the last one back in P10, Lethan McClement in 11, Rob Visor in 12, and our race controller back there on the rear of grid.
And that's where I would be in 13th place.
All right, what are we expecting to see, guys? I think here, I'm going to expect Brock Mothershead to get the better start, probably get in the inside and take an early lead. and then the others will fight through. I think this is a prime race for Brock to get out in front and have a go.
Yeah. Turn 3, Callum Killiter.
Oh, look at that start. Straight away, Brock's just,
Look at that
thank you
start.
so much, gone.
That is a killer
And look at Tim Nicol there up the inside as well.
Absolute killer start from both Brock and Tim Nicol, and Tim's got
Tim's gonna
inside
send
Callan
it.
as
Oh,
well.
Brock's
Brock's
gone.
overshot it at turn 2. There you go, commentator's curse. Tim Nicol's out with a nice 1 second start to start this race. How good is that for Tim? Callan's
Let's
under pressure. He's
jump
got a
on,
little bit of a lock-up.
Ray Oliver here, because he's in the thick of it.
We got Ray Oliver in the thick of it. We got Brett Taylor up in the front,
They're everywhere.
holding it. Callum's still going to defend a bit. Bit of wiggle. Brett's going to put a little bit of pressure on Callan. Brock's there just to put a bit of pressure on Brett. So here we go, guys. What we talk about? Have some patience, find the exit, and get the overtake done. But this gives Tim Nicol a chance to drive away, and he's making the most of it.
He's bolted, hasn't he? He's, what, 2 seconds off the front now?
Yep.
Just bolted off
We'll
the
have to
front.
start calling him far lap, I think.
You're right. And that's Brett Taylor, Brock Mottershead, and Brett Taylor side by side down the straight.
Yeah, Brett missed the apex.
Who's got the bickies?
12.
Who's got
Who's
the
gonna
bickies?
hold on to it?
Oh,
Who's gonna hold
Brock's
on to
just sent it.
Now, can he
I've
pull it
got to
up?
tell you, I'm really impressed with Brett Taylor over this season. When he first came to us season 3, he was down the back with me, and he is gone. Season 4 improved dramatically, and this season again he's improved dramatically. He's doing really well.
Yeah, wonderful drive. I'm not impressed with him because he's always just in front of me in another league. But, good on him. No, it's really good to see Brett improve. And he is driving the supercar quite a bit. So it's good to see him making leaps and bounds. And we're all in some ways amateurs and devs in when we race. And, always kudos to guys who can just every week just get that little bit faster and make it harder for others to beat them. So good on him. Brock's given Callan Hodgson's a real go here through turn 8, 9, 11, 10, 11, into 12.
Stay true.
Yeah, I'll tell you what Brock's done. Brock's hitting that apex at 12. He's made 2 positions from hitting that apex at 12 in a row. Callum just missed it. He probably had his eye on Brock having a go. And Callum's not having a crack at him back under turn 2. But look who we got. We've got Ray Oliver sitting behind Brett Taylor. I think Ray's going to still be a little bit antsy after race 1. Settle down, Ray. Use some patience. And
It's
a long race. Yep.
Yeah, few deep breaths, and that was close.
That was close. That was close to a little bit of move under brakes by someone. But, we prefer that race control if we need. Fair defending is fair defending, but blocking 100%. Is blocking. Absolutely. But I think Ray is going to put the pressure on Brett. And as I talked earlier, Brett's one of those guys who will race at his pace and he'll race steady and clean. And you've really got to get in the mirrors of him to upset him.
Cowie on the back of Ray now. Cowie's made up 4 places now, so he's already put the pressure on Ray. So Cowie's got himself in a real confident groove at the moment. Oh, a bit of a wiggle from Ray. He just opened the door and just let him through.
Yeah, that looks like a mistake.
Bradley had a sniff too on the way through then. I think Brad could smell the blood in the water.
Of course he can.
Look at him go. He's had a look. No, Brad's moved over and blocked the run.
Jace Douglas in the YouTube chat's asking when can he join? Join what? The V8s or com there, Jace?
Jason Douglas has paid his registration for season 2. So he's early because we've opened up the registration for the V8s, Pros and AMs and the Sunday sessions because of the numbers we had last year really backed us up for pre-quals. So yeah, he'll be available in another 3 weeks. But any practice sessions he wants to jump into, he's quite welcome to.
Yeah, we might have to, can we get him into the league and so he can drive in a mirror car and see how he goes against the guys in one of those test cars that iRacing provides as a bit of a ghost. But
you can do that, can't you, during a drive? During a race like this, you can get into a test car and you're a ghost and no one else can see you. Is that right?
Absolutely, you can do that. Maybe that's something we can think about in SRW and let the guys that are waiting for the next series jump in and just see how they go. But you don't get to defend, you don't get to the block because you are a ghost car, but at least you can see where you are.
There
Leith.
goes Leith.
Oh, Leith.
Is he held it? He's held it.
He's held it, but he's lost a couple of
that was
spots
close.
over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leith's lost a couple of spots. Looks like the guys have settled down a little bit. There's just a sort of 0.2, 0.3 gap between them all. They know it. Yeah, they know it's a longer race. You know, do you think these drivers are thinking strategy yet, boys?
Yeah, they are. Cowie will have a strategy already planned out. Geez, you see the front end rise on Cowie's car? It's a pretty stiff setup in the front. That bounced quite considerably over that curve.
He's got some speed in it. Whatever he's done to it, he's got it set up.
Yeah.
But also, the thing is, I was just going to say he's hitting all the apexes and he just missed one. So, But he's got consistent speed, and that's how you come to the front. So, you know, good on Cowie. He must have spent a lot of time on setup getting this one right tonight.
Yeah, he's
hang on.
Was that?
We got Ray Oliver. He's come off turn 1, just touched the grass and had to spin at turn 2. So he's dropped
he just
about
went a little
4
bit wide on his own. He just took a little bit too much of this apex. No, he missed the braking point altogether.
Missed breaking point. Yeah, just a little bit late. Might have got a bit.
Missed Cowie.
Might have got a bit hungry on Cowie. You see, all the boys are just locking up a little bit there.
Yeah.
So
that is a humble that corner. That is an absolute humble that corner.
No one has settled down for this race. They are driving hard. Here we got Pete Pavlik making a move there. Who's that on? Was that on Rob Visser?
No, Pete's behind. Oh, yeah, he passed Rob Visser and chasing Dooley now.
Alrighty, so I reckon Pete's a good candidate for a early pit stop strategy undercut here.
Yeah.
The rest of them are fighting and moving forward. So if I was the rest of them and their crew chief, I'd say you keep fighting, guys. You keep moving forward.
He was just a bit too fast coming out of that corner. His mid-corner speed is really good, Troy Dooley. You could see there, the mid-corner, he caught them up real quickly. But it cost him because he had to back off and didn't get that run down the straight.
Oh, we got more action in turn 1 and 2 here. The boys up the front, Brett Taylor and Cowie are at it. Homer and Tongs, they're side by side.
And Brett Wall is sitting behind them just waiting for mistakes.
Brett looks like he should be able to hold Cowie off here. This is a tough space to hold someone off. Cowie might find side by side all the way. And Cowie's just took a little bit of grass and Brett's got the position down. Does Brad get in there? No, he's had a little bit of a look, but he doesn't get there.
Toast.
Oh, good on you, Brad. Remember you're an admin, be nice.
Yeah, don't worry. That's Brad's biggest problem. I think he doesn't take that out of his head. He's always trying to be too nice out there because he's admin. I think if he forgot about that for a race or two, he'd be a little bit further up the pointy end, even though he has been very, very good this season. Ooh, he lost a bit of traction coming out of that corner.
He's lost just a little bit of time there.
And that's him side by side. Brett Taylor and him side by side?
No, we got Brett now up just behind Brett. Brett's pulling in Alan Hodgkinson.
What's his name? Schultz spun. Pavlovich has gone off the track as well. So I think there was contact between the two of them.
Yeah, and Schultze's just asked for a race control review, so we'll see what happens out of that. Hopefully the boys can get back running and keep driving. What are we looking at here? So Pete Pavlich, and we got the boys up the front having a go. Looks like a fair move. Pete's just driven off into the sand.
I don't know what Dad could be called about because he's locked it up on his own there by the look of it.
Yeah, I don't know. So what do we got? So we got so this is Brad and Leith. Yep. So Leith's on the inside. Looks like he's got a nice. Brad's taken a nice early break. He's on the brakes nice and early there.
Yeah.
Leith's made a bit of a early move towards the apex, and Ann's had to hit the brakes to avoid hitting him. Yeah. I think that's just going to be checked for defending, but at the end of the day, I think I'll let race control make the call on that one. I wouldn't like to call that one.
I wouldn't have called that one in either. I would have told Dad to stop being a sook and just drive.
Oh, you can't say that. The boys bloody racing hard. You can tell him in your Discord, but not publicly on YouTube, Mr. Sinker, eh?
Well, you know, I am his team boss, so hard luck, cupcake.
Steve Roland Dane Sinkovich at your service tonight in the commentary booth.
I think I do my better work as a teammate than a driver. Yeah, what they say, those who can't drive teach.
Yeah, and those that can't teach them become the boss. So welcome into the commentary booth, boss.
Tucking in. Cowie's having a sniff.
Cowie's having a good look at Brett Taylor. Oh, Cowie's lost it on his own. Oh, he's just on the throttle on his own. No net code at all. There was a big gap between the cars. I think that's a mistake on Cowie, just on his own. Yeah,
I think Cowie's trying to check out the jump we're going to use in a couple of weeks' time on the left-hand side there. So there's a look. He's panicked. He saw Brett with a little wiggle and he's panicked.
Well, he's either panicked or he's got a little bit over ambitious. I got him. Fell on the throttle and turned it round. Yeah. I do that all the time, right? So get in there, Cowie. Get back in there, mate.
Brett Taylor's on the inside of
Callum Hodgson.
Yeah, he's having a good old run 2x2, and Brad is again waiting for the crumbs behind it.
I'll tell you what, we're seeing a great race here from Callan. Tim Nicol and Brock are pulling out to the front with just a 1 second gap between them, and they're in their own race at the moment. But Callan Hodgkinson, who's normally back sort of mid to back pack field runner, he's doing well. He's driving cleanly, he's defending fairly, and he's making these boys really think about how you get around. And this is a good track for him to go. So good on you, Cal.
Yeah, he's actually called that incident in. I think he thinks there was contact.
He's called in his own hold, but But it looks like if Cowie's listening, mate, there's nothing to call in there between you and Brett. That was a bit over ambitious, and get back into the race, buddy. There's heaps to go. So for those who are new for listening to me, yes, I think this is Pete Baxter talking, and we've got Mr. Steve Sinkovich, the one of the bosses of SRW. Let's call him Roland Dane Sinkovich tonight, the way he's talking about his teammate in the box with me, and Rob's producing for us.
Cowie's just had pulled that incident in, and he was told. He also said, I don't think there was contact, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't touch him. And then he asked to see if he got a hold and stop and hold by iRacing, whether we could do anything about it. And Tyson said, no, mate, I'm sorry, that's iRacing.
You don't clear black flags in iRacing. Heaven knows if you do it, everybody else will be screaming down your throat. But haven't we got a great race here tonight? We are 12 minutes into a 40-minute race. We are probably getting close to the early pit window opening, but nobody's really taken their pit stops yet, other than Mr. Cowie, who's taking an unfortunate iRacing forced pit stop with no service.
And Mr. Saintly, Mr. Rob, you don't have to disappear just because I'm here, mate. I've just come here to help you guys out a bit and do something while my little boy's asleep and get my mind off work. So you can come back out here and have a chill, mate. You don't have to leave us alone.
I've been sitting here just letting you boys take it away.
now, Steve, you've got a challenge, mate, on the YouTube chat. Caleb's asked whether you really are Dan's boss. He said, isn't he an Area 51 driver? So,
and it was after dark anyway.
No, Dan Schultz used to be with After Dark, that turned into Area 51. But Dan has been racing with us since they fell apart. Dan joined Team SRW, came nicely knocking on the door. You guys be interested in another driver? And we said, yeah, Dan, why not? He's a nice guy. He is a round sponsor for our V8 Pro-Am series and been with the league since our FRL days. So we said, yeah, Dan, no worries. Just got to behave yourself, shut your mouth, and enjoy the fun. And he's loving it, absolutely loving it. So he reckons it's the most fun he's had in the V8 in a long time.
Hey, Rob, I just heard the boss say that we've got to behave ourselves here in SRW.
It's a bit steep coming from him. He walks in unannounced, swears on the Sunday stream. Yeah, we got to behave. I think he needs to look in the mirror.
If you highlight the fact that it was a swear, then it's a swear. But if no one highlights it, no one knows it didn't happen.
You were called out by a driver, boss. He said, "Oops, not
yeah,
on
you know
stream."
why? Because he had his own stream going.
That's right.
All right, let's get focused on the race. Let's get focused on the race here too. So So P1 and 2, so we've still got Tim Nicol and Brock out the front. They've got a beautiful 13-second gap to P3 and 4. P3 and 4, Callan's still fighting Brett Taylor. It's good to see Brett giving Callan a bit of a hurry up. He's right in his mirrors right now. So good to see that pressure being applied. Let's see how Callan can last it. So far, he's done really well to last it for 15 minutes. And then we got 5, 6, 7 and 8 in a group of about sort of 4 cars, a little bit gap between them. So we've got all of these battles, 1 and 2 down the track. And then we got Cowie fighting back from his penalty. I'll see that Leith McClement has recently just received a black flag penalty for moving under brakes, which is that one we talked about in turn 2, Steve, where we didn't want to make a call because that's race control's call, and they've made a call, and Leith will just have to take the pit stop, which he's doing right now, and then come out and race on.
Dan Schultz is also retiring his car. He's got hardware failure, so he's going to be retiring from the race shortly as well. Which is a shame because now I don't know who I'm going to laugh at.
Well, you'll just have to laugh at the other SRW driver in the field, and that'll be Brad Wall. So, it's a shame for Dan. Look, hardware things do happen to all of us every now and then, but to have it during a race, and he was having a good one, and he had the boss on his shoulders. So, for that to happen in front of the boss, not a good one, Dan. There, mate. If you need a hand, fix it up. Call Rob.
Don't call me.
In our RC chat, Mr. Howie Mandel, Nathan Chibby Howard reckons that we were an absolute mess when there was 3 of us talking. If we were people out there on YouTube, we apologise. But you get excited sometimes, and it takes you a few minutes to adjust yourselves to 3 very loud personalities.
Oh, he must be talking about 2 of your personalities, Rob.
Yeah, all 5 of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Jekyll Hyde.
All right, now here we got a development in the race. Brock Mothershead has come in for an early pit stop, so he hasn't gotten past Tim Nicol. Brock's come in for his pit stop early. He's going to come out in about P9 after the pit stop, and he's going to have a whole lot of clean track. And he does come out. Now, he might come out in P10, but he's going to have a whole lot of track. Now, the question is, if you're Tim Nicol, do you do an early pit stop? Do you follow? Or do you race on and see how far you can get in this race? What's your call, boys?
Well, he's 16 seconds ahead at the moment. What's the pit timeline at the moment coming in and out?
So Brock's total pit stop was 45 seconds. He's back on the track now.
48.78 with a 14.6 stop.
Yep, so I don't think Tim's really worried about the 16-second gap between him and who is now P2. I think Tim's really got to think about what's Brock's speed. If Brock comes out and he starts doing lap times faster, then Tim's going to have to do a pit stop to come out and make sure that he can come out of that pits in front of him, or he's going to drive on and take a shorter pit stop to make advantage of it. So there's a real race on between the 2 boys now, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and the other thing he's going to look at as well is that he's actually gapped to Brock. Brock's already pitted. If he, as you said, if Brock's got that pace, he could probably still, if he goes in there now, he could probably still come out in front of him. But if he waits too long and he loses pace on Brock, he's going to be coming out in 2nd place.
So Brock's difficulties, but he's only 2.3 seconds behind Rob Visser. So if Brock gets held up by Rob, that might help Tim Nicol out considerably. But again, Tim's coming up through turn 12 now. Let's see if he goes into the pits while we watch this other battle.
Yeah, I think if he can get himself another 2 seconds on Callum, here he is, he's in, yeah.
Tim's in the pit, so here we go. So let's keep an eye. Let's see if we can get on to Brock Mothershead, see where he goes. Tim's in the pits now. This is the effective race for the lead between the 2 major cars that had a nice 15-second break before the pit stop cycle started. There's a few other cars coming in the pit stop this lap as well. We've got Brad Wall in the pits, and Troy Dawley is coming in the pits right behind him. So here we go, Brock's coming out, and he's still there behind Rob Visser. Rob might play a little bit of a part here when and if Tim comes out. Tim's starting to roll out of the pits now.
Here we go, we're going to come out.
Tim's going to have to stay wide, get some respect for the fast cars coming through. So Brock's got him through the pit cycle. Tim's just snuck in there behind him. Now the question is, does does Rob play a part here? Rob's going to be getting shown, well, he won't be getting shown the blue flags because they're all on the same lap. So this is full race on.
They are.
Yeah,
Yep.
so this is full race on. Rob Visser does not have to slow down and let these guys go. Oh, he does. That's a bit of respect. I think that's a real class act there for Rob. He knows he's not in this race for P1 and 2, and all he's going to do is lose position by trying to fight them for that, what is essentially a ghost position at the race at the moment, and it lets Brock and Tim take off and have their race. So that is really good driving from Rob Visser. Well done, man. Kudos to you.
Yeah, I think Rob's missing me out there because I'm usually down the back with him.
All right, Rob, we'll kick the boss Steve Sinkovich out of the commentary boss one night and get you back in there, I think. Get him back in there so you got someone to race with.
I'll be back there next week, don't worry about that. Tuesday night, the comms wasn't planned. I just popped in to say hello and found that Rob disappeared on us because apparently Harry reckons we sound like a mess. Anyway, it's good to see Callum hasn't lost his cookies. He's still going. I predicted a spin at lap 3, and he's still going and got himself on first place, but he's going to have to pit over this lap or the next lap.
Don't you dare do him in. He's driving like a demon possessed here. None of this commentator's curse from. We're jumping on him now. He's got some pressure there from Brett. I think Brett's doing a great job.
He's doing it all. He's going.
Yeah, but Brett's got to pit at some stage too. So both, Brett will just stay in his mirrors there and give him a whole lot of pressure. And the good thing about driving with Brett, he's going to drive until you make a mistake. He's not going to do a real silly drive. And I can tell you, he's a driver you can trust for that.
Oh, that's all right. That's good. I wasn't sure if Callum was going to overshoot that. Then Troy Dooley had a bit of a little wiggle there. A little bit of dirt as well, but I thought Callum might have lost a bit of that.
Now the interesting thing here is, do we think Brock's just pulling away from Tim? Maybe 0.1, 0.2 seconds a lap. The gap's opened up a little bit, but we've got a long way to go. We've got 18 minutes to go, so there's a lot of racing to do yet. Is Tim just letting his tyres come in so that he's got a better set at the end of the race?
I'd say he is letting them in because he's got 2 laps in. By the time he hits the third lap, his tyres will be up to nice temperature. If he goes in too hard, too quick, he's going to toast them.
Classic amateur mistake, mate.
Yeah, Callum and Brett. Callum, I think, might have just touched the wall a little bit then too.
And that's the mistake that Brett's been looking for. He's having a look, but I don't think he's going to get him. He's really got Callum under pressure right now.
Yep. Mr. Dooley locked up the front right. He's kept it.
He's held on to it.
This is where he wiggled off a little bit, I think. Yeah, he's just touched that bloody... This is the problem with this track. It's you just get a tyre off and it grabs you.
Yeah, it's a bit like Montreal, the track there, where it's a lovely track to drive on, but it's just got some grass strips along the side of it, and you touch them, and you're in trouble. So, you got to use as much of the track as you can, but not too much. Always the challenge of the eternal racing driver.
100%.
All right. So Brett's got Callum here. We missed that overtake, Rob. Do you think we can find that overtake?
Yeah, but Peter Pav is now got they both wiggled, and Peter Pav's got the inside line on this straight, and it looks like if he gets his brake right, he's going to be right on the back of.
Absolutely. So it looks like Callum's just overshot the corner, and the quintessential Brett Taylor has just hit his apex and driven off, waited for that mistake and made that position. That is a classic Brett Taylor move.
Yeah. And Peter Pav putting the pressure on. Looks like Callum's rear end's doing a bit of dancing around on its own there.
Oh, he's fighting hard.
Yeah,
These boys haven't pitted yet, I don't think. So
a little bit of overdriving from Callum there.
They're currently driving P1, 2 and 3, so you might as well take the top 3 podium positions on the track, get us to talk about them while you can. It's good TV time for the boys, so good on you boys, get out there. Brett Taylor currently in the lead, Callum P2, Pete Pavlich in P3. Does it look like the podium? Probably not on the final results when the final pit stops happen, but the boys are out there and they're racing hard and they're ticking off laps led, so good for the stats.
I think Ray Oliver just set the fastest lap time.
Yeah, they did, and Pete Pavlich has just come into the pit, so I think Pete thought that he might have been getting held up here, so Pete's going to take his pit stop, get on a fresh set of tyres and see if he can come out and jump these two through his pit cycle. I think that's smart from Pete, rather than trying to fight hard and go over aggressive to overtake them to make track position.
It was Ray's fastest lap, but not the fastest lap of the race. Brock's got that with a 1:05.25.
Nice. This gap here that Monastead's got, Nickel is growing, isn't it? He's got down to 1.7 now. He's settled into his groove.
It's just eking out a little bit. Brock settled into his groove. They've got nice track space in between them, so the two of them can race on. I think Brock's looking good here, and Tim's got a fight on his hand if he is going to catch him back. But just that little bit, 0.1 and 0.2 every lap, just open up the gap, take the pressure off. I think Brock will be comfortable but highly concentrated.
Callum hasn't given up. Oh, there you go.
Come on, Steve, would you give up if you were Callum? Mate,
No. But Brett Taylor's just gone into the pits then.
Yep.
So Callum's gone past. Pete's already gone in. Now Brett's gone in. So I wonder how much fuel Callum's got left. Whether he's got another lap in him or not. He'll come out with fresh tyres and a little bit less juice in the tank too.
Yep, and so what we're going to look at is where does Brett come out with Pete Pavlich on track. So whether Pete's able to jump Brett through the pit stops, I think that will determine whether Pete's pit stop was the smart move or not. Look, he's coming down the main straight now. He's just coming onto the main straight, and it looks like Brett's just coming out of the pit lane now, so he's going to have to take a little bit of care coming in. Open it up. And Brett has got Pete still in the pit cycle, so that's good move from Brett's good drive.
Ray Oliver's locked it nicely there. It's like he's just geared it down.
Yeah, no, just a little bit late on the brakes. He's a little bit of oversteer, which these cars will do when you're late on the brakes, and then he's given Pete Pavlich that position. And again, fight them until they make a mistake, right? It's the easiest way to make positions. You've got to be patient, but that's what Brett and Pete are proving, is getting them forward tonight.
Well, the boys are behaving themselves this second feature. There's been no black flags, no call-ins. Everyone's setting down into a rhythm and got themselves their mindset right.
Yeah, after the pit cycle, all the cars seem to have just got a bit of a half-second or more gap between them. So, I think the cars have settled down a little bit for the race. It's going to take mistakes for them to come close together. We've just got to see this last pit stop when Callan comes out back onto the track and see where he ends up. He's coming back out onto the track now, and it looks like he might... Yeah, Brett's got him. Does Pete get him? Does Pete get him?
Yeah, Pete's passed him as well.
Pete's got him. Yep, so that's a smart pit stop cycle for both Brett and Pete. They've just jumped in front of Callum, who was driving and defending really well. They're probably holding those two guys up a little bit. They'll pull away now, but I still think Callum's in for a better than normal result.
I think so too. I think he's going to have 2 laps fresher tyres than Pete, 1 lap fresher than Brett. He's carrying less fuel as well than both of them. Well, they'll be pretty close to the same, but his tyres will be better, so he's got a bit of an advantage at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're 12 minutes to go, Steve. What do you think we should be looking forward to from 12 minutes to go?
Guys at the front have settled down a bit, which is a bit disappointing. I thought they'd be a little bit closer by now. Monastead is actually pulling away from Nickel. Brad's got a 20-second gap. The only action we're going to see at the moment is fight for third. Again, Troy Dooley is fighting for a podium for the second feature, so I reckon that's where the action's going to be between those two. And then we'll get a little bit of a argy-bargy between Pavlich and Taylor as well.
No, you think Pete's got the speed to put the pressure on Brett? Brett's going to be hard to pass, I'll give you that tip.
It'll be definitely hard to pass, but I think Pete will catch him slowly, but yeah, Brett's going to be too hard for him to pass.
Yeah, well, time will tell, I guess. So there's your prediction from the boss man. Yep. There's your prediction, ladies and gents, from the boss man, Mr. Roland Dane Sinkovich. Watching a couple of SRW drops.
Cowie's spin earlier has cost him a whole lap, so he's just down in no man's land at the moment.
Yeah, I think Cowie's had a couple of little trouble spots after that spin. It might just be an element of frustration kicking in, after such a good result and getting that monkey off his back in race 2.
You gotta love these cars on this track. The way they look, the way they go around it. I mean, it's tight. It's a dangerous track, but I tell you what, I don't mind it actually. I don't mind it. I used to hate the Aussie tracks when we first started this, but yeah, I quite like them now.
It's a tight track. It's a little bit Winton-like, but the straight, it's a little bit longer, so you can get a nice little break on the straight as a driver. But essentially, you come off through turn 1, and then your mind is just full on until you get back through turn 12. So, a tricky track, and really good. It's nice to come here every now and then.
It is. I like the big thing I like about it is the undulation of the track. Like there's change in elevation and camber that can be. It's really tricky. It's not that simple.
Well, and it takes you some time when you go over some of those undulations to find the right spots to get through parts of the track. Which tree do you look at when you've got just a view of a horizon and no curbs in sight to aim for to get maximum speed? So. It looks like Troy Dooley's putting a little bit more pressure on Brad Wall now, and we've got Pete Pavlich putting a little bit more pressure on Brett Taylor. So spicing up after a bit of a few minute lull in the race there.
Yeah. So far my predictions are on point. So this bit here coming up now, up the on top of this bridge, there's like a little dip, and you've got to really be careful where you, like just there. Where you put the foot down, where you put the brake down. But then this bit here I find really tricky as well, where it just drops really quickly on the left-hand side. And if you don't get that brake point right there, you're gone.
Yeah, you got to get your turn in right into 7, and if you miss it, then essentially you're really, really easy just to be on the grass and get an instant point through 8, and you've lost all your momentum into 9. But here we go. Pete's he's got a good run out of 12 on the straight. Side by side, massive overlap on Brett Taylor. Now, Brett's coming back here. Bit of a side draft is working in Brett's case here. They're going to go side by side. Is Brett going to lift? He is going to lift and play the smart game. He's staying there, though. He's giving it. He's got to protect himself.
I really lost that then. Pete's rear end just flicked a little bit there. I thought he was going to lose it.
They're certainly both on the edge, and smart driving from Brett there. I think he put as much pressure as he could on Pete, but without bumping into him. But he also had to defend. From Callum.
Troy Dooley's lost it behind Brad.
Troy Dooley's just had a little bit of a spin coming up onto the bridge, and that's given Brad Wall a nice little 3-second buffer.
Yeah. Callum's actually looking really confident.
Tell you who we need to go to. We need to go to P1 and 2 because they have got the gap back down to around about half a second. Boys, this race is on.
Yes, that's a big turn of events, isn't it? Morrison must have had a bit of a moment or something.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's had a spin.
2.1.
Absolutely. I don't know whether he's had a spin or just, but he's lost some time to Tim somewhere, or whether Tim's just brought his tyres in.
On the inside. No, he's pulled back. Yeah, you're right. You're spot on there. It must have been a little bit of an off or something.
There we go. What have we got here in the replay? So we got Ray Oliver coming through the final turn. That's a nice apex. That's like textbook driving, Rob. What are you showing us? Beautiful stuff. Coming out, probably a little bit of oversteer. Oh, wait, that's not textbook. way too much oversteer. Oh, that's going to hurt Ray, and essentially it's going to put him right down. He might lose a spot or two from that there. Just a little bit over-eager on the throttle again, and that's what happens in these cars when you're a little bit over-eager.
Ray's a really fast driver, but he's still coming to grips with the V8. You put him in a GT3 and a Porsche, and he's a lot more comfortable in those cars. This is a little bit out of his comfort zone, but he's getting better and better. I think he's just the consistency is what kills him a bit, but his pace is really good.
Well, I tell you, if you can drive a Porsche, and those things with their rear engine, the way they spin around corners, he'll come to grips and drive this pretty quick. But big differences between driving the supercar and the GT3. The GT3's got all of that aero, you can tip it in and it holds in the corners, whereas the supercar, you've got to accelerate and brake in a straight line, as most of us who drive it really understand. So, the guys that get genuine speed out of these things have really got these cars dialed in.
And this fight here is going to be an epic fight for the last 5 laps.
What have we got? 5 minutes to go. We're going to have. That's got to be 5 laps, I reckon, at least. And Tim, I think Tim's doing everything he can to put the pressure on the Brock. And as I always say, get right in the mirror there, Tim. Give him everything. Get in and out of it. Make him focus on you and not the apex, and find that mistake. But good fair driving, and we've got an exciting race on our hands here.
Yeah, you see the braking points are a little bit different between these two guys. Tim's braking a lot later than Brock in some of these corners, and you can see just the old elastic band they call it, where you under brakes you get really close, and then all of a sudden the person obviously in front's got acceleration earlier, and they pull away and then back together again. But these corners like this one here are going to be the key for Tim.
Yeah, but if people are watching this and they're developing drivers, you've just got to watch how Tim is using that effect. He is getting close, but he's not going for any dives, and what he's doing is really trying to put the pressure on. He's just getting on the inside of his mirror there, just to give Brock something to think about. But he's not diving from afar. He's waiting until there's a mistake. He can get a really good drive, get a bit of overlap, and then he can pounce and make a mistake. No good taking a dive, because essentially that will make both of them lose a whole lot of time, and potentially a 1-2 podium that they're both on. And I've got to tell you, P2 is a good result. I know we all want P1, but P2 is a damn good result, even in an Anfield like this.
Yeah. Brock's really confident in that sector of the track. He actually pulled away from him there.
He got
coming up the bridge. Yeah, coming up the bridge, his foot was down as he was coming up the bridge, and he just pulled away nicely there.
Yeah, so that brings
the
question.
Half a second.
Yeah, do you think Brock might have missed a couple of apexes, which is how Tim got back up behind him there? Because Brock looks like he's got the speed to me.
He does. I think maybe there might have been a case where he might have got his tyres dirtier at a point. It takes a bit of a while to get your tyres clean again on this track. Once you go off, if you try to push it so hard, it's torture. But if you play it smart and get the tyres back to the groove, you find maybe that's what we've missed. Because look at that, he's already pulled another 2 seconds away. So it's like he's got his confidence back and got the tyres underneath him again. That's another half a lap, and he's pulled 2 tenths away.
I'll tell you what we're looking at. We are looking at Troy Dooley after that little bit of a spin. He is right up the back, putting the pressure back on Brad Wall for P3. So, again, whilst we've got a little bit of a bungee cord happening between Brock and Tim at the front, there's still a good fight here for the podium between Brad Wall and Troy Dooley.
Yeah, even though they're 25 seconds behind, it's going to be a tight one.
Absolutely. What are we looking at? 3 minutes to go. So essentially just under, I think we're still going to get 3 laps out of 3 minutes here, boys. So if the lap time's about 105, 106 for everybody. So looking at another 3 laps, I think Troy's really going to have to push hard here to get Brad. Looks like Brock's got the pace. Brock's certainly got the fastest lap of the race with a 105.251, which is just 0.15 or 0.11 quicker than Tim at the moment. They got a good chunk of time on their best laps from the rest of the field. So those guys are pulling out fun, and rightfully so. They've certainly got the speed to be there.
100%. Tim's got it down to an orange sector now, so he's back right up behind him. So don't know whose laps are the ones that's changing inconsistency at the moment, because we saw it at like 2 seconds at one point, and now it's back to like half a second. Is it Brock whose laps are inconsistent, or is it Tim's?
I tell you who's flying, mate. Not P1 and P2. I tell you who's flying is Pete Pavlik. Pavlovich. He has just about got on the back of this battle for P3. He is doing lap times about 0.3, 0.4 seconds faster than everybody else on the track at the moment. We've made a mistake. So Troy Dooley's got through there. He is currently sitting on the podium. Will Pete get Brad won't be happy, but he's missed another apex. Pete's got a chance here to get up inside. Go, Pete. Oh, go on, fight that, Brad. I'll get in trouble for saying go, Pete, won't I?
It's Brad will be kicking himself right now.
Yeah, he will, but it's his own mistake. He's going to fight. He's going to try and hold. Stay on the track, Brad. Stay on the track. Settle in. Jump back in behind. Put the pressure on. So there you go. We've just hit the 40-minute mark on the timer, so we'll be on the last lap now. Brad will be kicking himself because that's cost him 2 spots in the race. So, he was looking at a podium too, and for one of the admins to get a podium in the M Series is a pretty big thing in the team. So, Brad, get out there, mate.
Oh, a little bit of a fish. Oh, is he? Oh, did he held? He held it. Yep, that was it. That was your winner. That was Brock Motter's head. Taking your second feature, Tim Nichols second, and Troy Dooley third, followed by Peter Pav and Brad Wall. That was it.
They've got to come across the line yet, so Troy Dooley's coming across the line now.
Check the flag for a second.
Check a flag for Brock and Tim Nichols. So we've got.
Oh, that's right.
Troy Dooley's just taken P3 now. Pete Pavlich in P4 and Brad Ball in P5. Callan Hodgson, well done, man. You have held on from a front row start to P6 when a lot of us thought that a couple of other guys would get you. That is fabulous driving. Brett Taylor got in there for P7. I think Brett's going to be ruining himself from those mistakes that he made as well. Same with Ray Oliver. Ray was fast tonight in P8. Rob Visser in P9. Cowie in P10. He's going to be kicking himself as well. A couple of mistakes there. And then we've got Leith in P11. Danny Schultz in P12 who pulled out of the race a few laps ago. So that is your finishing order. Massive drive there from Brock with a lot of pressure from Tim. And I think Troy's got to count himself to be a bit lucky that Brad made that mistake, mate.
Yeah, it was a crucial pivotal point in the race for Brad. That last half a lap to go. It is what it is. A little bit of dirt on the tyres. You get a little bit too close on that edge. And that's all it takes. The boys are happy out there. They've all had a good race. They're all enjoying it by the look of it and the sound of it.
Good racing.
Yeah, very, very good. Very tight battles across everywhere in the field as usual. This AMS league is what I'd say lacking a little bit of numbers, but the quality of the racing has been next to none. The boys are getting faster and faster. I'm hearing from the pro drivers that the AMS boys that are racing tonight have improved immensely when they race Sunday nights. Getting a lot harder to pass. Their times are a lot more consistent. Yeah, so it's definitely improving the quality.
So that's a good thing this is what you do, right? The AMS drivers, they get a Tuesday night race before the Sunday night race. So they've essentially got, a race or a round of practice that the pro drivers don't have.
Podiums in the green room.
And I think that's awesome for the AM drivers because it does let them get up there and battle with the pro drivers. So, good racing between themselves, and when they get to mix it with a few pros, they pat themselves on the back because, when you're racing somebody here, it's too fast to get in your series, and you get a good result. That's really tough. So, yeah.
And some of the boys have done really well, like Troy Dooley. Very impressive on the weekend. Yeah, he did a fantastic run.
All righty. G'day, Troy. How are you, man? Congratulations on your P3 tonight.
Yeah, it's good, right? Thank you.
Yeah, did you think that was going to end up in P3? That was almost a last lap bloody bit of luck for you there.
I know. I was praying. I saw someone chasing me, and I kept on catching up to the guy in front, and then bloody losing it. So,
was it a slippery track tonight, or was it just typical AM drivers?
Pretty typical AM drivers, I think. Oran Park is not the easiest track in the world.
No, and you did a bit of a if I remember right, you did a bit of a later pit stop, so it wasn't like an undercut strategy. What was your mindset there?
It was about mid-race, I think. I saw the leader come in at the time. I think might have been Tim, but just the tyres, just trying to even out the tyres. Tyres about halfway through the stint, a bit average.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations. Enjoy that practice, and hopefully you go well against the pros on Sunday. Feel free to do some shout-outs.
I'd just like to thank Solus.
Pete's his mic's gone.
Looks like Troy's mic's just dropped down on us. So give us a shout-outs, mate. Have another go.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Just like to thank Solus Solar Panels down in Sydney. If you're looking for solar panels, go and see them.
Awesome.
Congratulations, mate, and epic couple of days for you, I think.
Yeah, fun's over, man. I've got to go back to work tomorrow, so.
All righty. Well, next round,
luck,
change your number to 222 and you might be P2 on the podium.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Good on you. All righty. Who we got next? We should have Tim Nicol coming in. This will be a good chat, mate, because Tim fought really hard. G'day, Tim. Congratulations, mate, on your P2. What a wonderful result.
Thanks, fellas. Yeah, that is hard work, that little track. It really does fatigue you near the end there, but Brock, too good. Got me in the pits, undercut, and didn't quite have enough track time to get him back.
Yeah, well, I was saying at the time when Brock came in for that pit stop, I was asking the boys, what do they do? Do they drive on for a few laps as long as they can and try and save a bit of time in fuel, or do you respond with the next lap? And I think you took 2 laps, which probably gave him just enough time to get in front of you.
Yeah, I think so. That first one, when he was in, I pulled a decent lap, but the second one I stuffed, and then obviously he had a bit of fuel saving following me for dozen odd laps. So it's tricky when you're in the lead and everyone's banking off your strategy, and if they can start seeing you slip, there you go, undercuts are the go.
And what did you think when Brock gave you a bit of a sniff in those last 5 laps and let you get right up there under his bonnet, under his boot again?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I just went, just keep it clean. I haven't come off the track, and it can happen so easy around Oran Park. And right up the back, and then it's so easy to overdrive. You know what these cars are like. It just takes that 1 millimetre more on the trying to pinch a bit of time, and you end up going backwards. So but that was good fun.
Yeah, good on you, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your P2. The floor is yours for your shout-outs.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Just like to thank SRW for hosting Tuesday nights. Bit of fun for the amateur guys, but thanks to Pecky's, Quantum, and the boys in QPPR.
Good on you, Tim, mate. Congratulations. P2 in the AM series tonight. Hopefully you can carry some of that form and put a bit of pressure on the pro guys on Sunday night. So keep practicing, and a few more laps at Oran Park for you to go.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated.
Right, mate. Cheers, mate. Good luck. All righty, Steve. We might get Brock in and you can talk to him.
There he is. He's the man of the moment. Congratulations, Brock. How does it feel to get a podium tonight, man?
Oh, well, first race didn't feel good at all, but I think, I redeemed myself in the second one there.
Yeah, the strategy was completely different.
Well, first race, I literally ran from my car after work straight to the computer, so I had no practice, no warm-up, nothing. I had to quali. I was a bit rusty, and then second race I finally kind of got a groove, and then, had to really work for it. Tim was driving good. I noticed that he was starting to pull away from me, so I thought I'd go for the undercut, and it luckily worked for me.
Nice. Tell me, is Dad happy now that we're pronouncing your name all right?
Yeah, he is, yeah. He was filthy about it. He got up me. He's like, they keep saying your name wrong. I'll have to stop watching it.
Yeah, I sort of made a mental point to get it right from there onwards for you, mate, just so you wouldn't have Dad on your back.
Beauty. I appreciate that.
How's your Saturday, Sunday, your Sunday and your Tuesday feel, mate? Because you've had some decent drives in the last few rounds.
Yeah, I'm only doing the Tuesday because I can't commit to the Sunday. So, but yeah, so far the season's going well for me. I'd say that first race was my worst one yet this season.
Yeah. So the idea is to fight for the title all the way through. We're going to see you back in the Pro-Ams next season, or?
If I can make it, I'll definitely be in there. But if not, then someone else will have to race for the trophy.
Nice. Well, mate, congratulations tonight. It's good to see you up on the podium. Who are you going to shout out to tonight, man?
Tonight we'll thank Bliss Homes, Mark Hughes Foundation, Riot Sim Racing, all the boat ramp guys, and Gamer Gear Direct for helping all us guys out with hardware for the sim.
Nice, mate. Don't forget Mum and Dad.
And Mum and Dad, even though they don't give me any money.
You can't hang on to the apron strings forever, mate.
I let go of them a long time ago. I'm old enough now to be supporting myself.
Well done, mate. Congratulations, and keep enjoying it, mate, and having fun.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Well, there you go, Steve. A really good AM race, a classic 20-minute sprint. And then Brock and Tim had a cracking battle out the front for 40 minutes there. What do you expect to see on Sunday night?
You know what? I'm not even going to try predicting Sunday nights because every time we show up, it's a different couple of guys battling here and there across the mid packs, and then the front pack fights are crazy. I think in the last few weeks, Jamie sort of stepped it up a little bit, and a few weeks before that, Sagasa was up there fighting. So the boys are switching it around a bit. I don't really care who gets up there, as long as they keep fighting the way they are. And how close it is awesome viewing. I go back and do the highlights, and I just cringe at some of the passing and how close they get to each other, and it's awesome to watch, mate. I just love it. I think the style of racing we've got here at SRW is hard, but very, very fair, and I think that stands out in the community, and that's why a lot of people are coming over to us.
All right. No, well, thanks for jumping in tonight. I've learnt two things tonight. Is one, I have to behave myself as an SRW admin and commentator, and two, I never want to be in your team, and I don't want you as my team boss. So thanks for those things. I'm going to hand it back to you or Rob to do the final closings for the show, boys.
Rob, come out of the shade, mate, and join us and say goodbye to everyone, mate. Because I did steal your thunder tonight, and I apologise. I just thought I'd come in because there was two lovely blokes on comms, and I thought this would be fun.
Yeah, it was an interesting night, and it was good to see. But as always, we can't do it without our round sponsors and our series sponsors: Melville Equipment, Toyo Sim, Grim Industries, Warren and Brown Tools, obviously for tonight's round. Dragon RC again, Mr. Dan Schultz there, giving us a bit of a problem with his equipment, but fantastic night tonight. And there's also one I've missed. I know there is.
There's promo department, sim rigs,
yep. There you go.
racecraft.
So there you go.
Yeah, thanks to all of you. Thanks for your support, and Grim Industries as well. So the list is growing, and there is another one on the horizon coming as well for our regular racing, which is a very, very big Australian brand, which I'm working on very closely at the moment. So hopefully we'll be able to talk about it in a few days.
Well, boys, that's going to wrap up tonight, but that's not all from SRW TV this week. Next up on the schedule, tomorrow night, double header, TCR and F3. That's going to be a cracking night. We'll hope to see you guys there tuned in for some stellar racing with our new series. So, yeah, on behalf of the comms team and the management team, we bid you farewell, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
To total one, this is amazing. Up and clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff from Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble model right now because take one, Priest 10